Hey guys, make sure to check out G2A.com. A link is in the description below. They have really cheap PC games, Xbox Live codes, and a whole bunch more. Link in the description below. Yo guys, what's up? It's XRAYZ. Welcome back to another video here for Call of Duty World War II. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing supply drops in Call of Duty World War II. And I wanted to give my thoughts on this because this is going to be a pretty big topic, considering World War II has a lot of hype behind it right now, a lot of optimism, a lot of people who are going to be coming back and trying out this game who haven't played in years. And I'm really excited. I think this year is going to be a really fun year for Call of Duty on YouTube, off YouTube, and just in general for COD. So I'm really excited. And the supply drop thing is going to be one of the things that a lot of people are very interested in and are going to be really hoping that is handled professionally and handled in a very fair way. So the way we've seen it before, we've had supply drops in Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, and Modern Warfare Remastered. It's a system that we're more than likely going to see in Call of Duty World War II because it has been in these other 4 Call of Duty games already and consistently. And it's something that we're probably going to see also turn into where you can buy COD points and use them to get your own supply drops. So supply drops, more than anything at this point, is definitely going to be something we are going to see in Call of Duty World War II. Alright, so before I go any further here, I do want to give a huge shout out to Ryan, or Prestigious Key. I'm making this video as a response to his with my own thoughts. He basically made a video about this and he shared this information. So basically, SHGames, who is a former Call of Duty YouTuber, he hasn't posted consistently Call of Duty in a while. Well, he's thinking about coming back for Call of Duty World War II. He was at the capture event and he tweeted out asking about Call of Duty World War II and whether it was only going to have 10 weapons in the final build of the game. Obviously, it's probably not just going to have 10. We're probably going to see a lot more than this once we see those weapons in the beta and then obviously the full release of the game. Michael Condrey replied by saying multiples of. Now you can take this as one of two ways. One, which is probably what he meant, which is going to be multiples of 10, so maybe 20, 30 weapons, or it could be taken as multiple versions of the weapons or variants, which is probably one that a lot of people are going to freak out about. And it's probably something that not a lot of us want. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this is because of the fact that there's this general consensus in the Call of Duty community that if we're going to have supply drops, we kind of want them to be all cosmetic, so cosmetic only. And I agree with this. I think that it's the best way to keep the game balanced and fair and not pay to win for a lot of us who feel that way. But at the same time, there is this gaping hole or this issue that we have in that supply drops, if they're not taken care of or handled correctly, then supply drops are going to be worthless. Now, what I mean by this is there's a couple of reasons that Call of Duty supply drops have gone the route of the weapons in the supply drops similar to Black Ops 3 or the variants that we've seen in Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare. And the reason being that people pay money because they want these weapons, whether it's because of stat changes or because they're brand new weapons altogether. You can argue which system is better. I personally believe that the IW/MWR system is the best one because we have the free DLC weapons we just get straight up from IW, but in MWR where you don't have variants, you do get salvage and stuff like that. So I think that's the best system we've had so far, IW/MWR. But if we go back to Black Ops 3 when it first came out, that game was cosmetic only pretty much. We only had camos and gear that you could get for your specialist characters, and a lot of people were happy with this, but at the same time, not a lot of people cared. And I know this because there was a lot of Call of Duty YouTubers that were uploading their supply drop openings and, you know, obviously doing their reactions to getting stuff, and no one cared. The videos did terrible, and a lot of people just were not hyped. A lot of people didn't really care even when they introduced the ability to buy supply drops. No one cared and no one was buying supply drops. And after that, we ended up seeing the sales spike up in sales because there was the melee weapons introduced, and then finally after that, the range weapons, which were completely new weapons. And after that, the sales went up. But let's pay attention to that trend. When it was cosmetic only in the way that we had it in Black Ops 3, where it was every weapon had its own camo, there was different ranges to them, everyone had gear, the hype was not really there. It was incredibly fair because there was no stat changes, there was no new weapons, but it was boring. It was incredibly boring. No one cared about supply drops. You got crypto keys, you open supply drops, but really there was no excitement. It wasn't like, oh my god, I got this insane camo. And it's because there isn't that value, and there's two reasons. One, Call of Duty is a 1-year game. You're not going to see Call of Duty World War II become a 3-year game where no other Call of Duty comes out after that. And you can argue that Black Ops 3 was a multi-year game because it's gone into its 2nd year and the hype is still there. And there's probably more people playing Black Ops 3 than Infinite Warfare, completely separate topic. But it's still a 1-year Call of Duty. Those weapons that you got in Black Ops 3 didn't pass over or didn't transfer over to IW, and they're certainly not going to be in Call of Duty World War II. So when you get these weapons, they don't transfer over. So if you're getting camos and cosmetic only items, no one really cares, because this is stuff you're not going to see in a future Call of Duty. At least that's the way that it's been before. So whenever we got these camos or these special gears we got for our characters, no one really cared. I think the last time we actually had cosmetic items that people cared about was back in Advanced Warfare, when we had the gear sets, which were incredibly cool, and a lot of people were hyped whenever they got those. But you can't really do that with Call of Duty World War II because of the setting and the seriousness of the game. You're not going to see clown suits or gingerbread men or crazy weird outfits on these soldiers, because it wouldn't fit the game and when it would take you completely out of the immersion that the game would be. So you're not going to see dudes running around in samurai or ninja gear, which would be cool in my opinion, but again, you're very much limited by the setting that Call of Duty World War II is in, and you would have maybe small changes to the uniform like we've seen in the pre-order bonus for Call of Duty World War II. So if the cosmetic items are not cool, then supply drops won't sell, and if supply drops don't sell, then we're probably going to end up seeing weapons coming to the game. So while I do think that cosmetic only is the fairest system and one that we probably should have, at the end of the day, the limitations and constraints of it being a 1-year game, and also the fact that because of the way that we've had it before, where, you know, in Black Ops 3 was cosmetic items but you didn't really care, then I think the cosmetic items is going to completely fail and ruin some of the hype of the game. Now, we can go cosmetic only, but the system would have to be incredibly messed up. And what I mean by that is, we know the system, RNG system that we have in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, where it's incredibly unlikely that you're going to get any kind of DLC weapon, and it's just a given. I've spent money on Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and then after a while it was like, there's no point, because there's no guarantee unless you're using a ranged or triple supply drop bribe or a specific weapon bribe. You're not going to get a melee weapon or a ranged weapon. It's just impossible. There's no way to get it from regular drops. And as unfair and as much as I hate that system, the reason that people care about all these DLC videos, and the reason you see all these YouTubers who post Black Ops 3, who still post these Getting Dark Matter, 3 DLC weapons in one opening, and the video gets a ton of views, is because of that reason. Because it's so hard to get them that when you make a video on it, everyone cares and the hype is there. And anyone, regardless of if you watch YouTube, if you play Black Ops 3 and you get a DLC weapon, you're hyped because it's so incredibly hard to get it, almost impossible to get a weapon from just your regular supply drops. So if they did a system similar to this in Call of Duty World War II, where there's specific DLC camos that you can get, maybe, I don't know what would be harder or what would be better, because we've had a system in Black Ops 3 where you get the camo but it's only for one specific weapon, and that kind of pisses me off. But at the same time, it makes the weapon camos a lot more rare. Or whether we go a system like an IW where you get a camo and it's for that entire category, so all of the SMGs or all of the shotguns, I think that would be a little bit better. But if they want to keep this hyped, they need to, one, have camos that are actually really cool to see. None of these like half-ass camos. We need some actually really cool looking camos. That's number one. And number two, they need to be a lot harder. It can't just be legendary and epic like in Black Ops 3, where you got a legendary or an epic and you didn't really care because it was a camo. It needs to be a sick camo that is actually incredibly hard to get, like a sick, super sick camo like in CSGO. That's incredibly hard to get, which I know is stupid because then people are going to be spending money and it's going to be impossible to get. But if that happens, when you get those super awesome looking and incredibly rare camos, then people are going to care. Supply and demand. If you have a camo that looks really cool but everyone has it, no one cares. If you have a really cool camo that only a few people have, a lot of people are going to care. So I think that's the way they want to go. If you want to go cosmetic only, then we need to go into a system where the cosmetic items are going to have your basics, you're going to have your rare, you're going to have your legendary, and your epics. I really wish it was epic and then legendary, because legendary just sounds cooler than epic. But if they do that, there needs to be a tier that is super hard to get, that everyone wants to get, whether it's a weapon variant that has no stat changes, it just looks cosmetically different, or a specific camo that you can put on your weapon that is insanely hard to get. It's the only way that you're going to get people buying supply drops and people actually excited to open up supply drops in Call of Duty World War II. There is no information so far on supply drops. There hasn't even been confirmation, but at this point, we can pretty much agree that there are going to be supply drops in the game because it's money that Activision gets. So I hope that they handle this with care. I hope they handle it in an incredibly fair way. And if they do weapons, which I think they are going to do, then I hope that it's a very fair way of doing it, whether you get salvage, whether you get it absolutely free from doing a challenge. I hope that they do it in an incredibly fair way. And if they do it cosmetic, they need to do it up big. Whether it's super sick camos that are hard to get, or whether you go supply drop weapons or variants, they need to do something that's fair and that everyone agrees with, because this Call of Duty is make or break, honestly. If you have a game that is this hype, that is this kind of expected, and people are excited to play it, and they toss in a system that is horrible, then people are going to not want to play this game and go to something else, whether it's Black Ops 3 for a third year. So please, SHGames, you guys have been absolutely killing it. I think you guys are going to absolutely deliver in this game, and I can't wait to try it. I already played it at E3, and I can't wait to play it even more. I wish I had more time because it was so much fun. Please, make the supply drops fair if you are going to have them, whether it's cosmetic only, which again, please make them hype, or whether it's weapons, please have a system that's easy for us to acquire these weapons. I believe in you. I believe in you, Michael Condrey, and I believe in you, Glenn Schofield, and I can't wait for Zombies 2. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. It's a little long-winded. I'll try to cut it down, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on the video. It does help out. And if you are brand new to the channel, want to see even more videos like these, then obviously make sure you do subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.